we've just watched a little bit of Repeat Signal with November Club, and we have really enjoyed it. So I wondered if you could tell us a little bit about who you play and what the play is about.
I play Lucas in a Repeat Signal, and it's it's a play about heritage, I think. And you've got two people in a room that probably two people who shouldn't or aren't usually in a room, aren't usually is the better word, like they aren't in a room together. And I think it's a whole play about exploring and sharing each other's experiences. And, the thing that the two characters both have in common is a strong sense of their own heritage. And, they get a chance to share that between each other. And I think it's a play that it's also about grief. And both the characters are exploring grief in two very different situations. And I think that's where, there's almost not a challenge, but that's where the misunderstanding is between the grief of Celine and what she's going through and Lucas and what he's going through as well. And as much as that is the thing that is allowing their friendship to move forward, it's inevitably the one thing that brings them closer to what they are. And then once they're at that stage, their cultures and their heritage are more free-flowing in terms of understanding and, the motivation to talk to one another between those two things as well. And I think it's a play that really brings like a sense to place, although it's set in Ashton in the northeast, it takes you to other places as well, back to like BB's hometown. It's a place that takes you away to different places, but then also cements what those places are to these two characters.
Yeah, I think it was put really lovely. I play BB, and I think for me the play is very much about the stories that these two people carry, which is very similar to what it is the same in terms of heritage, of what Jake was talking about. I think I often find that I find people generally quite fascinating, and like we've got all these people in the room, and unless we speak to them and they share each other's stories, we wouldn't know what each other have been through. And I think what's so lovely about this play is that it is throughout this time that the stories gets bridged together, and towards at the end there is an understanding from where both these characters have come from. And I think it's and it is all from the heritage and from their relationship, and I think it's a really beautiful play. I think what you guys have picked up and what you've all done is really special, and I think it's really rare. I've not come across it where there's been an opportunity for workshops with young people to present a story, and then for somebody to take those ideas and create something. I think it's so lovely, and I admire you all for being able to do this, because I most certainly wouldn't have had the mind capacity at your age. I would have been like doing, God, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. We've really enjoyed doing it, we really have, and we're excited to see it. How are you feeling about going into the museum for the first time, and have you filmed live theatre before? Have you been filmed performing in this way?
I've actually been to Woodhorn before. I should have said it earlier. I did something here a couple of years ago with a company called Beard. I think they're over there. There was a company Curious Monkey, but it was through Beard. So I've been around the museum and had a look and stuff when we were there. So for me, like being from County Durham, I love the place, and it's places like these that I think as we're moving forward, people are not forgetting, because that sounds like a horrible word, but I think it's just not something that people are maybe brought up with as much anymore. And places like these are a lovely reminder of who we are, big reminder of who we are, what we're about as people. There's always the fallback onto the mines and stuff, and a lot of people say it's all the Northeast talk about, but it's all the Northeast had. And without that, I don't think the majority of the people in the Northeast, wouldn't be who they are. In terms of filming theatre live, I've done it once or twice. I've done it a few times, And I think sometimes it really, really works, and sometimes it doesn't. Not in a bad way. I just think sometimes it doesn't look how it should. But I think for this piece in particular, I think what makes it so great is that we're going to have that winding room, you know, and it's really going to look like two young people have just literally pushed the door open, broken in, and it's, you know, it's a whole playground. So I'm really looking forward to that, because I think it's just, once we get in there later on today and really get in filming it, like, it's a chance for us to like just bring it alive even more.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been, I've not really journeyed to Northumbria. My kind of very much stayed south. Even for university, I went mid, kind of Nottingham. Where's that? Is that mid? It's like middle, isn't it?
Nottinghamshire, north, west-ish.
Somewhere. My geography's terrible. But yeah, I don't really have a lot of experiences in being in a mining town. This is the first mining town that I've sort of come across, so it's been really, really lovely to just walk around and just get a vibe for the place. And I'm really excited about seeing the museum. Like, I'm like a little child when I get to go and see new places. I just love it. I really want to learn as much as I can about the heritage, and like, I don't know anything about the coal mining industry, because obviously I've not been exposed to that. I mean, I was born and brought up in London, so that's pretty much all I've known most of my life. And I think it will be special to be in that place, and I don't know, just imagine what would have happened way back when. I think it would be really beautiful to be there. I have not had any experience with live theatre in terms of anybody filming, so this is going to be completely new to me. So that'll be interesting. Probably just me blocking one of the cameras all the time. I'm like, can you move? Just get out of the way.
So with sort of coming from County Durham, there's obviously a mining background there, and there's a mining background in the film, and obviously your family's heritage, that's obviously really present in the live piece as well. What does that mean to you to be performing that with that sort of personal experience?
I think it's good that it comes from like an honest place, if that makes sense. You know, like you do see some work and stuff that are based on like mining towns and stuff, and like coal mines and stuff. And I think like for this piece in particular, it's really on, like it hits the nail on the head. Do you know what I mean? Because you've got Lucas here, like, that, you know, knows a lot about it, but, you know, wasn't there when it happened. You know what I mean? And that's probably a similar position that I grew up in. Do you know what I mean? There are a lot of people, they knew about it, but they weren't there, and you constantly hear about it, but you were never there. So you can only imagine what it is, you know. And it's nice that this piece really focuses on that, because, you know, it's an exciting world that Lucas, unfortunately, will never see. Do you know what I mean? Whether it, like, you know, regardless of the type of work that mines were, you know, it was a world he'll never get to see, and the only time he'll ever get the chance to do that is in these places as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's nice to see a story from that perspective.
Yeah, personally, without getting too heavy about it, in many aspects within this industry, there's a lot that I dislike about how Middle Easterns are presented, how as actors we're presented, the stories that are being told. And so what I love is that this piece is so honest and true. And I think what is often, again, without getting too heavy about it, I feel that sometimes when you see a Middle Eastern on screen, they're almost dehumanized, and that really angers me. And so what this story does, and what it reminds me of, is it does remind me of some of the things that Mum would mention, like the ghost. She doesn't understand why there is such a fascination with ghosts here. Like, it's just baffling to her. And I think what this piece does, and it's very much all what you've brought forward, and that's what's so important. It's you guys telling your stories. It pushes this human aspect of this character that other people wouldn't get to see otherwise. And I think that's so important, and it hits the nail on the head, because this is exactly the type of stories that I want to tell. You know, that's why I talked to my mum about her journey from Iraq, Turkey, Bulgaria to here. I mean, it's so important for us to know these stories and understand the people, and it's not just a face, it's not just a number. I think this really does it so beautifully. It's so nice to be able to play somebody with an accent speaking Arabic, and she's human, and it's not just, how can I put it, like it's not just a prop, it's not just something where it's like just pushes the story to make one other person look better, which is what really angers me. So that's why, yeah, I really love this piece because of that.
That representation is so important.
So important.
I think especially coming from the Northeast, it's just, we don't talk about representation in Middle Eastern cultures and things like that, so I'm really pleased that this piece is doing that. So as a group, one of the questions we were asked in sort of the devising was, if we could have a museum, what would we put in it? And there was things like old photographs, and there was, can't remember, but what would you put in a museum if you could put anything in one? Doesn't have to be old, as BB thinks.
I'd put one of those little can openers in. Have you seen them? They're like the little army can openers. They're like, they go on the end of your keys. It's like a little metal thing that you twist round.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's literally, it's like a flat bit of metal you twist round, you open up the cans. I can't use them, so that's why I put it in.
That is so abstract. I was like, you really went. I was like,
It's the first thing that come to my head.
I don't, oh gosh, I'd probably see if there was some footage that you could project, if that makes sense, and just have that would probably be the thing that I'd like to see, because it's moving images, and so, does that make sense? If I just, yours really threw me off.
Sorry, I don't know how to use them. Dad used to have one.
But yeah, I think I'd love to see something moving rather than being a tangible object. I'd love to see just an action, or I don't know, maybe like CCTV footage or something. I don't know. Yeah, something.
So obviously BB goes into the museum to make a film, and we talked about, if we were let loose in a museum, we'd play hide and seek, we'd have a disco. Is there anything you would do if you genuinely, in real life, went into Woodhorn in the middle of the night?
I'm a scaredy cat. I wouldn't. I'd probably be in the corner like crying if there was a ghost.
I've only done it a few times, but I imagine it'd be good crack. Paintballing.
Paintballing?
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to like mess up the bits though, really.
I didn't realise that was a thing though. I thought it was like no holds barred, we can clean up afterwards.
Just clean up after.
Yeah.
What would... I think it would be like telling ghost stories in the dark. I know I'm a scaredy cat, but I also really enjoy getting scared and just like trying to freak somebody else out. Like one of those things where
like
people,
one of the ghost walks.
one of those ghost walks, and just like scare someone. Just tell them, oh yeah, we're going to come have fun. Just like Home Alone it. Just make it insane. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I think there's a lot you could do.
Yeah,
I don't know if anyone else has any other questions. But it's been lovely to interview you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers,
I'm really excited to watch it.
Awesome, thank you.
Well, cheers, thank you.